Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Horst Lüning. I'm the master taster of Whisky.com, and today I have the joy to introduce a new bottle from Dalmore. It's a vintage port vintage from the vintage 2001, 15 years old, 40%, and quite a steep price, close to €200, dollars, pounds. And I was happy to get free samples from a communication agency regarding this whiskey, and they tell here in this accompanying letter that Richard Patterson, the master blender of Dalmore, well known by everybody, he has its 50th anniversary in the whiskey industry this year, and he created this series of 3 bottles. There is a 2001 port vintage, which I will taste today. Then there is a 1998 port vintage with 18 years of age. And the 1996, 20 years old. Yeah, quite expensive, over 500. Yeah. And then they say, please notice that these miniatures of the Dalmore port vintage collection are not thought for storing whiskey over a longer time. You should consume it between 6 and 8 weeks. Will do. So here we go. This is the miniature, and it looks a little bit like perfume. So this is this, and now to the bottle itself. Huge, heavy case. And inside these typical shaped Dalmore bottle with the glued on silvery shining plastic deer head. Yeah. And on the back, sorry for the color, it's the green screen behind. And on the back there are tasting notes. Aroma, exotic spices, cinnamon, resins, and tangerines dipped in chocolate. Palate, caramelized peaches, freshly baked bread, and Morello sherries. No idea what Morello sherries are. Finish, Turkish delight, figs, and coffee. 0.7 liters, 40% ABV. And now here is the bottle in front of it. So this way. This bottle was finished for 2 years in port wine casks, and these port wine casks are tawny port wine casks, and this is one of my favorites. So finishing in tawny port is a whiskey I like to a 99%. Can use whatever whiskey you like, finish it in tawny port. That's it. And here they tell where the deer head of the Dalmore comes from. It's from 1263, where an ancient representative of the clan of the Mackenzies rescued King Alexander III on a hunting experience that a deer would have killed him. Otherwise, he rescued him, and the thankful king gave him the right to use the 12-ending deer head. No idea what's translated in English, as the symbol in his coat of arms, because this deer head was formerly exclusive to the king. And in 1976, the Mackenzies bought the Dalmore distillery, and from that time on, the head is on the bottle. So if you have a Dalmore bottle without the deer head on it, that is really old and valuable. So this whiskey, 15 years of age, 13 years in ex-bourbon cask, then finished in tawny pot cask, and those tawny pot casks are exclusive to a company called W&J Grahams. And there is a relationship to Scotland with this bodega, and a guy named Andrew James Symington. Well, we know Andrew Symington, but I don't know if that's a relative or not. He arrived in Portugal in 1882 to work in Graham's. He was aged just 19. Andrew's father was a Glasgow merchant and wine and writer, and his mother hailed from Unst in the Shetland Islands. Andrew James left Graham's a few years later to pursue an independent career as a pot producer, and in 1891 he married Porto-born Beatrice Leichau de Calvajosa Atkinson. Quite long names, aren't they? Beatrice came from a long-established port family, her grandfather having been a port producer and shipper since 1814. On her Portuguese mother's side, Beatrice was a descendant of the pioneering port merchants of the 17th century. Thus, the Symingtons can trace their lineage back 14 generations and to the earliest days of port's long history. They are advertising with the ancient times. 14 generations in Portugal and 1263, the rescue of the King Alexander III. There's a whiskey out there with that name. So have a try. Plastic, not for resale. Here we go. Exotic fruit, full, massive, a little cinnamon note, a little port wine note, those raisins, but the chocolate I'm still missing. There is some vanilla coming up, but quite light, and some sweetness, probably from the caramel, but going together with the exotic fruit. It's not sharp in the start, a low ABV, 40%, and mouth-watering tangerines again, sweetness, this Turkish delight, very sweet. Then some figs afterwards, and well, the coffee is dim, really. So it's more on the fresh fruity side, some caramelized peaches. Yeah. The sherries, probably more sherry. Yeah. You know those sweets, the chocolate and the sherry in it. So alcohol sucked cherries. So a wonderful, massive, intense, which reminds me a little bit to the 15-year-old Dalmore, which is a sherry one, sherry finished one, but it's extremely intense and full and more affordable than this one. Yeah. Really a wonderful piece of work. Be careful, limited. So this was the experiment started by Richard Patterson, and the number of port wine casks at the Dalmore is limited. I think I once had another portwood matured Dalmore several years or a decade ago. So there are some port wine casks, but not that many, that the regular bottlings of Dalmore does not show these port wine notes. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned. As always, there's more to come, and feel free to share this video with your friends.